What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions. And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality. Today, December 25th, 2019, I give you the Dalai Lama Decoded. And I want to just say here and now that I can promise you the time that you'll invest in watching this video will be well worth the time you invest in this video. This started out decoding the Dalai Lama, and again, people ask me, well, why are you decoding that? I don't know. I get these downloads and then I just start finding some significance, and then it just takes me on this this chase down the rabbit hole, and it usually gives me an outcome that is very predominant in my research. So I can assure you it will be well worth your time, and this led me to something of great importance in defining this matrix reality. So I promise you, stick with me throughout this whole presentation. It will be well worth your wait. You will understand much more of how this matrix works. My methods for decoding, as most of you know, I use numerology, primarily Chaldean. Sometimes I use the English ordinal. Sometimes now I'm getting into the Hebrew and the Greek, which of course brings in different languages. But it's the spells that we speak that can be broken down through numbers. Each letter is associated with a number. That's why they say, how do you spell your name? What's the spelling of your name? We all speak spells, ladies and gentlemen, and we can measure that using numerology, which is the science of numbers, which is, right here. And, Decode Your Reality is a 61, and that's then linked to an element on the periodic table. We're all made up of these elements. We need these to really survive in life. Calcium, manganese, potassium, all these elements. We need these to survive, and, not all of them there's 118 on the periodic table, but a majority of them, we're made up of these elements. And, the as above, so below, it's all related to science and the alchemical elements. And then when we get our outcome, we can then tie in the tarot, which gives us a picture of the numbers. And that has great significance as well. And then, of course, last but not least, freaking common sense. Most people that I see don't have it. I always say not you, but God, so many people do not have any common sense. And if you're watching this video, you're supposed to be watching this video because you're interested in the occult. And the occult's not a bad thing, no matter what you were told in your past and your programmed, things that you were taught to you. The occult just means secret. So if you're interested in secrets, you're in the right place. Nobody rides for free. You're not going to be getting secrets, the keys to the kingdom, by just listening to someone telling you something. You've got to study and research it on your own. I'm just one person, as I said in the beginning of this video. These are just my opinions and truths, but I stand behind them. So again, we take the spoken word, break it down into numerology. Notice each letter is associated with a number. It'll give us a total outcome, which would be 61. But then all these letters have numbers that are individualistic to their to the respective letters. And these are primarily the two I use. I suggest you using one or two. Don't go beyond that. When you get into multiple ciphers, it muddies the waters. It's easy to make connections. Anybody can do that. If you're just getting started in decoding, pick one of these two ciphers and just decode from that, and then start to document your research. And then, of course, bring the numbers into the periodic table. This is where it's at. This is when we get into what's called alchemy, which is the blending of energies, turning lead into gold. Here's lead, and then gold is right here. It's just a short little walk down the periodic table. Lead into gold. That's alchemy. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. The Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama. I believe this guy just may be the last one before we have the new age that comes upon us. Now, I'm usually not one into predictions and theories. I do have some, but I'm not some fortune teller. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in defining how this matrix works. I'm interested in what's called origins, because that to me is where you'll find the keys to the kingdom. And I believe this guy is the last Dalai Lama just because of Donald Trump and Richard Michael Pence and and Jorge and the Vatican and all these people with their significance in numerology and of course tied into the Bible. And the Bible has great significance to the Dalai Lama too. We're going to get into that at the end of this presentation. I'm going to blow you away what I found. Completely just floored me, man. But anyway, the significance of the Dalai Lama with the colors, notice it's red and yellow, and that's red, yellow, and orange. Those can be tied together. Those are the lower chakra points. And then 14 is the root chakra and the heart chakra. So this whole getup right here is definitely, in my opinion, representing the box that we live in, aka hell. That's why they say we want to bring heaven on earth. Of course, because we're in hell and we want to make it heaven. That's our responsibility, actually, to make the world a better place. And these are the colors this particular group of people wear. Of course, they're all about the Tibetan culture. So an icon in the world, the 14th Dalai Lama. So we're going to get into this guy right here. We're going to break down his religious name. We're also going to break down the word Dalai Lama. And then we're also going to break down his birth name, which is Lama Thondup. I pronounced that right. Really, really interesting. And if you get into the cards of illumination, the cards of destiny, one of his cards is the 9 of diamonds. It's kind of interesting. Really, really interesting. But anyway, these are the things we're going to be decoding from with this guy right here. So the Dalai Lama itself, the title that it goes by is a 19 overall, which is the sun card in the tarot, but we want to break it down on an even more minute aspect. And we're looking at the 10th card and the 9th card, the Wheel of Fortune and the Hermit. This would be one of Jesus's cards, is one of the Dalai Lama's cards, one of Buddha's cards, one of Gandhi's cards, one of Mother Teresa's cards. All the greats that came here to kind of change the world and move it towards a more peaceful and loving place. The old man on the mountain, the wise, the sage one. That's what the 9th card represents. 9 is the culmination of the numbers 0 through 8, which means it carries all that energy. Very powerful. 9's a repeater number, as you all know. And then the 10th card is the Wheel of Fortune, spinning the wheel. And you'll notice it has some symbology there. There is the Yod-He, Vah-He, the YHVH, the ancient Israelite name for God, Yahweh, YHVH, YHWH. The New Age name would be Jehovah. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. Just packaged differently. Someone, for some reason, didn't like that and wanted to change it. So now you have what's called Jehovah, but it's the same energy, same deity, just packaged differently. So it's on this card, and you spin the wheel, and you'll notice the blue and the red. That denotes heaven and hell, the separation of the two. You know, this is where the devil, we're told, he resides, in hell. Well, that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the so below aspects. Here's the as above, which is blue. Blue represents the throat chakra, where we speak our spells. I'm talking to you right now using my throat chakra. And then this represents the root chakra. This is where, obviously, the police cars have their blue and red lights. And then where the flag has the red, white, and blue. That's the significance of that right there. And then if you follow any of Santos Bonacci's work, he's big on the blue and red, the red shift, blue shift, or blue shift, red shift, the Taurus fields, which is actually what we live in. Great significance right there. And then 10 means binary, of course. In quantum physics, it's the only number that's used, 1 and zeros. There's no other numbers. So it has great significance. And then, of course, the 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet is the Yod. And then we flip that into the English, it's the letter J. That's why Yahweh and Jehovah are interchangeable. Just different way to say it. Anyways, when we break down the Hermit and Wheel of Fortune, which is where the Dalai Lama comes from, through the tarot, we break it down through numerology, and look at the outcome we get, ladies and gentlemen. 111. This is huge. This could be our origin, ladies and gentlemen, from a numbering standpoint. This is where we may have come from a numbering standpoint, the 111. Of course, the 111th element is rhodogenium, which has an atomic weight of 280. And you know what's interesting about rhodogenium is it has a numerology of 47. And that has great significance because, as I keep saying over and over, the Tetragrammaton, which I said is right inside the Wheel of Fortune here, equals the number 47, matching that up with rhodogenium, and rhodogenium has an atomic weight of 280. It's the 111th element. That is the Dalai Lama. That's what the Dalai Lama means in numerology and the tarot, ladies and gentlemen. But it's linked, the origin is linked to the Tetragrammaton. So who do you think he pays tribute to? Take a wild guess. Moving along, I want to highlight now the cards in the Roman numeral expressions. The 10th card is the X, the 9th card is the 1X. Breaking it down through numerology, we get 24, 9, 24. Breaking that down now through alchemy, we get chromium twice and 1 fluorine. Go over to our trusted calculator. Gives us a 122.88. And on the masculine side, it's 122. The element that lines up, or has an atomic weight of 122, is the element antimony. And if you go to the Royal Society of Chemistry and you look at, let me go back and backtrack here, you look at the 51st element, you'll notice the icon they use. And the reason being is because when you go into the uses and properties, it'll tell you the symbol is the Eye of Horus. It's an ancient Egyptian symbol of protection. The ancient Egyptians used antimony sulfide as a mascara. They put it under their eyes. How convenient. So that's a big clue. This was a big clue for me when I discovered this and I started to study this. And it just so happens that, the Dalai Lama, through the tarot cards, through the Roman numerals, through alchemy, ends up being antimony, 122. And then, of course, this is how strong this element is, because through numerology, on the masculine side, 122 equals 51, matching that of antimony's protons, 51. And then if you take this entire box with all the expressions it has in it, its protons, its abbreviation, its name, and then its atomic weight, through numerology, we yet again get another 51. So this tells me loud and clear that this is extremely powerful. And this is contained inside a square. If you know anything about magic and how, you have the triangle of art, if you do any kind of conjuring, invocations, you use a triangle. If you're doing any kind of exorcisms, they use the triangle of art. Well, the square contains a lot of power as well because it holds all these things in. It's the square. Keep in mind, we live in the box. We live in 666. That's how this stuff works. But anyway, you see the significance, how powerful that is. And that's where the Roman numerals come into play with the 10 and 9 cards, which started with the Dalai Lama. And 111. So the 111 is tied to the all-seeing eye of Horus. And let's not forget, on the feminine side, 88. And 88 is how many miles per hour did Marty McFly have to get the DeLorean to time travel? 88. And 88 is linked to Kronos in the Greek cipher. Kronos is Saturn, and Saturn is Father Time. That's how that all links up. Let's get into the Eye of Horus. From the Dalai Lama, we get into the Eye of Horus. And Eye of Horus, through alchemy, there is its 10 elements. Go to our trusty calculator. We come out with 101055. That's how we say that. That's how we speak that spell. 101055. So we come over and we break that down using numerology. And look what we get as an outcome. 280. The element that has an atomic weight of 280, and I already just showed you this, is rhodogenium. It's the 111th element. Once again, linking to the Tetragrammaton. So who do you think the Eye of Horus is? The ancient Egyptian all-powerful symbol that's on the dollar bill, mind you. Who's running the government? Who's running the monetary system? That's up to the eye of the beholder, but I think it's really loud and clear what's running the show. What do you see, ladies and gentlemen? What is it that you see? I'm just one person showing you. Now this was, again, his religious name, Tenzin Gyatso. And that's a 12-letter word. When we break it down, here is Tenzin's alchemical elements. We go over to the trusty calculator, we add those up. We end up getting a 96.113. This is huge because 96, as you know, is the yin-yang symbol, which means a perfect balance of the black and white. It's the feminine yin 9 with the masculine white 6, which is Cancer's symbol, which of course rules the heart. Cancer is the 4th zodiac sign. In the astrology, the 4th house is the home. It's where your home is, stability, support. Home is where the heart is. Well, the heart's supposed to be very balanced. Anyway, nonetheless, 96.113, that brings in the elements curium and nihonium. These are its most predominant weights. This is what his religious name ends up being through alchemy, and then, of course, it leads us to 96.113, curium and nihonium. And when we add up those atomic weights, ladies and gentlemen, using our trusty calculator, we get the number 531.247. Again, we go through numerology, 531.247. That's how we speak that spell. Look at the outcome it gives us, 122. And did I not just show you this in the previous couple slides back? Yet again, the all-seeing eye of Horus, 122. So you have to ask yourself, what is this guy all about? And he's the leader of the Tibetan culture, and so many other people around the world, millions upon millions of people. Iconic figure. But who do you think he's linked to? The all-seeing eye of Horus. What do you see? Which is the Tetragrammaton. Now this is his birth name, Lama Thondup. His birth name has 12 letters as well. I didn't name him this, his parents did. Unless we go to Wikipedia and it's completely false and someone's fabricating things for everything to come up like this, which I highly doubt. Using alchemy, again, here's the 12 elements for Lama Thondup, his birth name. Go over to the trusty calculator. We get the number 124091. Go over to numerology, 124091. Look at the outcome, ladies and gentlemen. 111, which of course is linked up to, yet again, Rhodogenium. Rhodogenium is 47. Tetragrammaton is 47. So I'll ask you the question, who do you think Lama Thondup is representing in this matrix reality? Who do you think he's paying tribute to? Who do you think he's supporting? That right there is tied to the Tetragrammaton. It's all the same thing, packaged differently, ladies and gentlemen. It's just carried on through history. Someone didn't like something, they wanted to change it, so we're going to call it something else. It's all the same crap, man. There's no difference. You're seeing it right here. These are strong ties too. I mean, I'm not trying to fit a square peg in a round hole here. I mean, I'm showing this with supporting evidence using this methodology, which I've shown in so many other videos. So if this is the first time you've watched the video, go watch some of my other videos. I mean, this is not just making stuff up. Now, this is the first Dalai Lama, Gendin Drupa. I don't know why I decided to go to the first one. I want to know the origins, right? Couldn't get a picture. This is the only picture I could get off of Wikipedia, but look at the outcomes. I mean, it's kind of humorous, really. I kind of chuckle because of the outcomes of this, but his name equals 111. I mean, we just got the 111, you know, through Lama, the 14th. So, and I mentioned it's a possibility. This is our origins, folks. 111. This is from a numbering standpoint. That's where we came from, or where we're built from. Our origin, 111. It's very, very possible. Very, very possible. And, you know, the first Dalai Lama is 111 in the English ordinal, and, you know, that's Rhodogenium, and that's Tetragrammaton. But on the Chaldean side, it's 44, which is Scandium, which is kind of interesting because the word Yeshua equals 21. The word love equals 21. The word Saturn equals the number 21. And, you know, Scandium has an atomic weight of 44. It's just really fascinating to me, man, how these things all just play out, and they just talk to us. They tell us what's going on. You want to find the answers, you got to ask, and then nobody rides for free. You got to do the research, which is what I'm showing you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving you some shortcuts. I'm doing a lot of the research for you. You know, this is the tough part, trying to break all this stuff down. So yeah, this is the first Dalai Lama, and It's really, really interesting. The significance, and this is what leads me to the very ending of this presentation, folks, and this is what blew my doors off and kind of what I found and kind of what made sense to me, and now I understand so many things. And you've got to understand astrology, you've got to understand the Vedic chakra systems, you've got to understand, a lot of these philosophies, they all tie in together. But notice that this guy Gendon, the first Dalai Lama, was born in a cowshed. A cowshed. And, when you start to break down and look at cow, the word cow, what is the significance of this animal? Well, they're called cattle. And I mean, if you look at the purpose of a cow, most people will just say, well, people eat them and they milk them for milk, and, they use the udder for milk. And, it's really interesting when you look at it, but what's the purpose of a cow, in the wild? It doesn't really do anything. What purpose does it serve other than what we know it to be as, a food source? Well, if people are eating animals and cows, who's eating us? I mean, we're the top of the food chain, but we know through other aspects, quantum physics and how vibration works and energy, there's something beyond our dimension that we can't see that's feeding on something. And, I believe firmly it's our emotions, fear and love. I think that's what's keeping this matrix alive. And I believe that, look, I want to digress and say, I stopped eating animals. And ever since I did, my decoding took off like a rocket. I can't even tell you how many downloads I got once I made that choice. And, I'm not here to try to coerce you. I'm not here to try to change anybody. It's a personal journey. But I believe, if you believe in you are what you eat, well, if you eat an animal, what does that make you? Something to think about. But anyway, if you consume a cow, would you become part cow? And then cattle, they're rounded up. Cattle are rounded up. Could it be that we're cattle too? We're rounded up as people? We're cattle? Just a higher form of a cattle? It's really, really fascinating, And then we get into the Chinese zodiac, and then, of course, the cow is related to the ox. Notice the first letter is an O. The O is the infinite amount of potential, the cosmic egg. And then, of course, the X is important as well. But it's the second animal in the Chinese zodiac, the second of 12. And then what planet is that related to? Well, Venus is the second planet, what they tell us. And I believe Venus rules the sacral chakra. So when we go into the chakra systems and we look at the sacral, it's the second chakra point, and it's also the color of orange, and it rules our reproductive organs. Really, really fascinating when you look at it. But that's what Venus does. It's orange. It rules the reproductive system. It rules sex. Venus, the planet of love. That's where the sex comes from. Fall in love, you have sex. I mean, it's all related. And keep in mind, the energy of the ox is the yin, feminine, the black, the 9. Contraction, winter. Winter is contraction, summer is expansion. Those are the two ways of nature. Really fascinating. And this guy was born in a cowshed. Now, the interesting part about cow is it's a 16, which is related to the Tower card, but through alchemy is where the big nugget was found. 376. We go over to the trusty calculator. Ladies and gentlemen, we get a 33 on the masculine side. What age was Jesus crucified at? 33. How many vertebrae are in our spines? 33. How many steps are there in Freemason that most people make it popular? 33. Could it be if we go down and do the opposite, we become a cow? Is it possible? Now, 33.019 through numerology becomes a 96, which is the yin and yang. And I believe, the cow's related to Taurus because the cow becomes the bull. The boss Taurus is the domesticated cow. This is the origin of the cow. Boss Taurus, and notice Taurus. And remember, we're talking 33 here. Really, really important. And then we get into this, the boss Taurus. This is the symbol of Taurus right here. And because Taurus is the second zodiac sign, it links to Venus, the second planet. Taurus, Venus, not only is it 11 letters, which is related to magic and alternating current and energy, but it's 47. And this was the icing on the cake for me. What does this look like to you? I mean, we could definitely go back and look at the reproductive organs and flip it, and look at the sacrum. And I mean, could we find that, that shape in there? It's possible. You could definitely put it in there, but here was the icing on the cake, ladies and gentlemen. My last slide. We're talking Taurus fields. Taurus fields. If you follow my buddy Santos, he's all about the Taurus fields. The bull. The bull. This is where the Bible came from. The Bible. Does that not look like the Taurus field? And then we sit right in the middle. It's expanded, of course, but remember, Tetragrammaton equals 47. Matching that up with Taurus and Venus runs our sex, our reproductive aspects. And if we're reproducing, are we cattle? Are we cows? And then, of course, if you eat a cow, do you become a cow? Again, that's look, I don't eat animals because I love all creation, and I realized that I was doing something that I wasn't in line with. And then on top of that, I wouldn't want an animal to eat me. I mean, if you had a lion chasing after you, you're going to run like hell. You don't want to be eaten. So what gives us the right to do that to them? Because we can? That's an easy way out. But it's all related to Taurus. The Dalai Lama, Cowshed. This guy was born in a cowshed. And do you see the significance? Do you see the significance? I mean, who put this here and said he was born in a cowshed? Why a cowshed? And then, I can go one step further, ladies and gentlemen, and that is this element right here, manganese. It's the 25th element. 25 is 9-6. 9-6 equals 25. Look at the picture they decided to use. And you go down to the uses and properties, and you'll see it's an antique electromagnet and a cow. Why would you choose this? And they say because manganese may have gotten its root words from the Latin word magnet, and then the cow reflects the importance of the element as a food supplement for grazing animals. That's really kind of bizarre that they would choose this picture right here to represent manganese. Is this us? Is that who we are? And of course, this is part of the Vesica Pisces, maybe? Is this who we've become? Cattle. We're being rounded up as cattle. We're being used as food, as cattle, as cows. It's very possible. And, this 54 is massive. I could get into that. Manganese. And then, look at the discovery date, 1774. It just keeps going on, ladies and gentlemen. But is this what we've become? And, magnet, electromagnet. Are we being sucked up as cattle, used as food? That's what I believe, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it. And look how it all ties in. At the start of this presentation, never would you have guessed I would have led into Taurus and Venus and Taurus fields. But is that not the Taurus field? That's it right there. It's clear as day. That's what that means right there. Taurus, running our reproductive organs. And this is what's running the show behind the scenes. I think we're all domesticated cows, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it. This is what it all leads to. Fascinating, is it not? That's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you got some nuggets out of this. What did you see out of this? What did you see? I mean, it's clear as day to me. Well, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.